Welcome to another episode, everyone. As many of you already know, Hoover Gumby has been arrested. He was arrested for aggravated stalking and battery on a pregnant woman. I've been knew about this arrest, of course, and many people have got to the content and did a video on it. I did not, because I didn't know what had happened. I didn't really want to speak on it. I wanted to wait to hear from Gumby or whatever to find out the facts. But Gumby has called in himself and spoke on the situation. So since he spoke on it on the internet, called in from jail, he's in a Las Vegas jail, then I'll speak on it. But here, this is Real Tune TV, who Gumby did a lot of interviews with. And he's breaking down what happened. He has some of the information. So I'll let him speak, since this is Gumby's partner and Gumby was doing the podcast with him. I guess I'll consider him a credible source or what have you, or someone who has a stake in it, because they were doing business together. And so I'll go with his take on it, or see what his take on it is, and see what the charges are. It's right here: Hoover Gumby arrested for aggravated stalking and battery on a pregnant woman. It's the headline. Let's see if we can get some details, and then I'll get to the Hoover Gumby phone call where he did call in and spoke on the situation. But let's first see if we can find out what the hell is going on.
Hey, Real Tone, there's some real money in the room.
Real Tune, no money in the room, man. And I'm going to just go ahead and break the bad news since nobody else wants to say it. Unfortunately, Hoover Gumby crashed out and has been arrested. He now sits in the county jail. It's sad. This is probably one of the saddest stories, because Gumby actually had an opportunity to be somebody on the internet. Not for a negative purpose, but for a good purpose. And everybody's always asking, why was I pushing him so hard? And I truly believe, like, his story, bro, you were exonerated. Like, God called you for a purpose. He has a purpose for you. You can do something. Your case alone is big enough to free a lot of black men who are in jail and they're innocent, like Gumby was. But unfortunately,
well, don't write him off yet. I mean, we don't really know what happened. He has not been found guilty of anything. Let's see if we can get to the facts. I mean, obviously, these are some very serious charges. Stalking and battery on a pregnant woman. These are some serious charges. Let's see if we can get to the facts of the case before we make any sort of judgments or whatever. And I'm not just saying this because it's Gumby. I would say this about anyone, because I know how the system is. I don't know what happened here as of yet. I wasn't there, but he says he's in the county jail. But yeah, he's in the Las Vegas county jail. I don't know if he knows this as he's doing this video. He did this a few days ago when the incident first transpired, when Gumby was first arrested. But let's see.
Unfortunately, before he can blow up, before he can be a figure, a lot of negative things happened, and ultimately he goes to jail. Now, I'm not going to count Gumby out, and I'm also going to say that Gumby's innocent until proven guilty, but I have to go over the charges. And the charges are not looking good. The charges are not looking good. So before we go into the charges, let's just talk about some of the things that led up to this situation. So everything's all good in Houston. Like, Gumby has a community out here. He's getting supported. He's getting loved on. And then he goes to Cali. Now, prior to him going to Cali, he was getting back and forth on the internet with the Hoovers from Fort Worth, right? He's going back and forth. They speaking their piece. He's speaking his piece.
Talk about the solution.
He hung up.
Oh, shit.
Over.
Oh, shit.
Fort Worth.
You niggas out of here. Hooverland.
Now, I'm not sure what this has to do with the narrative or with the story, him giving this background, but maybe, I mean, other than, I guess he's trying to point out, you know, Gumby's, progress on the internet or what have you, or downfall, if you will. You know, he's pointing out what led up to the arrest, I guess, like sort of things Gumby was getting into on the internet or whatever. Maybe his mind state that led to these charges. I don't know.
Y'all, on Hoover, come to LA, you market. What's that? Dan, you, Fort Worth, all you on Hoover Street. I said that for Kunta. Bring your ass to LA. I'm going to show you who I am. Gang.
And then there's other members in Cali now coming out to support the homies in Fort Worth.
Man, and this straight to you, Gumby. Check this out, man. You not a spokesman for 5 dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? We gonna just nip that in the...
Now, Gumby has his position. He leaves, he goes to No Jumper. He gets to No Jumper, Adam 22, Whack 100, they run, they play. The prison call happens.
Who I been harvesting?
Come on, you know who been harvesting, bro? Undercover agent. The undercover agent nigga. You know who I'm talking about?
Okay, so I'm saying, so
real shit that just dropped, bro.
what happened?
60 seconds remaining.
What little shit did just drop, bro?
Still been fucking with me, bro.
Who be fucking with who? What do you, listen, bro, call me on the phone, bro, and talk to me, because you obviously don't want to know what I'm talking about, or I don't know what the you talking about. You acting like I know. If you know what I'm talking about, say it.
The dude that got on the interrogation tape that you claiming is AI, they say...
Oh, I never said nothing was AI, bro. Don't lie on me. Never once did I say anything was AI. They mad at Groove. They dropped
These charges that I'm gonna read have anything to do with any of that. It's not Hoover business. It's not an internet crash out. It's not revenge. It's not money laundering. I think it's sad. It's sad, some of these charges, because it's petty, bro. The officers was really being petty with him. But then you have the family violence charges. Okay, so let's just get into it, right? And I want to say this: Gumby is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. He has a way of beating cases. We know he beat the shooting case where he shot another Hoover. So Gumby has a way of beating cases. So I'm gonna say innocent until proven guilty. I know men are lied on a lot in the court of law, and but it's not looking good for Gumby. So he's arrested, it says here, for proof of insurance requirements. So he didn't have proof of insurance. So he got pulled over, apparently, and he didn't have insurance. Then he got surrender certificate of registration. Basically, he was in a car that was unregistered and didn't have insurance. Okay. Next, he has battery, domestic violence on a pregnant victim. He has 2 counts of this, 3 counts of this. So he has 3 counts of battery, domestic violence on a pregnant victim, which he's awaiting return hearing for. He has $0 bond on these 3 charges. And it says that he'll see the judge February 2nd, 2026. So he's going to be in jail for a little minute. Okay. Now, he has a $75,000 bond, which I think if he pays this $75,000 bond, he'll end up being granted a bond for the previous charges. So the $75,000 bond was the aggravated stalking, constituting domestic violence. Okay. So again, that's aggravated stalking constituting domestic violence, which it seems to be the most recent charge. So let me just get into this aggravated stalking constituting domestic violence. Now, I'm gonna just go ahead and tell my testimony. I got a domestic violence charge before. Okay, I got a domestic violence charge before. I beat it. I took it to trial. I went to trial, and I beat the case. Those cases are serious. That's probably the most serious situation that I've ever been in my adult life. So essentially, after you're arrested for domestic violence, it's like you're guilty until proven innocent. Meaning that the first thing they do is they implement a restraining order on you from the state. So they give a state sanctioned restraining order, right? In my case, I get locked up. I go to jail. I get booked. I'm in there for like a day. I post bond. I get out. Upon getting out, they say the state puts the restraining order on you. So after the restraining order was placed on me, now I can't get to my apartment. So now you're barred from wherever your living quarters were. It doesn't matter if it's in your name, the person's name that they said you allegedly violated. That don't matter. You can't go there because that's where that person says they live. Even if they were visiting, whatever the situation was, it doesn't matter. Your word does not matter till after this case. So they're gonna propose a temporary restraining order on you. Apparently, Gumby got caught violating that restraining order. So Gumby was already out on bail for the domestic violence with his baby mom. Okay? And the stalking came apart with him violating the restraining order, right? So him being in any presence. I can tell you personally, Gumby has been around his baby mom, like in a way to where it was good. You know what I'm saying? Like he's over there for his kids. He's not just over there just to be over there. He's not over there stalking. He's not doing that. But in the eyes of the law, it does not matter. And so to my brothers out there dealing with a domestic violence situation, stay away from that woman. I was in a situation to where on Mother's Day, I'm trying to, celebrate my child's mom and my baby mom. We get pulled over. I go to jail. Why did I get pulled over? Did she call them? Did I do anything? Was there something bad going on? No, not at all. Over policed area, Bissonnette. At the time they shut down Bissonnette. What happens? I go to jail. No questions asked. So saying that to say, when it says aggravated stalking here, that charge sounds bad. But that does not mean that he was on some weird peeping Tom. He looking for the woman. He stalking the woman. That's the charge that he got. Now, could it be bad? I've never heard of aggravated stalking. But then again, he may be a repeat offender. Usually when a charge is aggravated, it means like a gun was involved. Okay, like aggravated assault, they had a weapon of some sort. Gumby is known for keeping a weapon on him. But again, he's innocent till proven guilty, man. Free Gumbino, man. I'm hoping the best for you. And I'm hoping when he gets out of jail that he realizes that he has an opportunity to change his family's life again. Using the internet. You got an opportunity at changing your family's life. I gave him the blueprint. I gave him the plan. You go to Cali and you fuck it up, bro. You fucking up the money. Damn, man. I can't even say I'm disappointed. I knew something was gonna happen when he left, bro. I knew it. Fellas, I'm gonna tell y'all something because the message is bigger than this Gumby situation. If a woman has put the police in your life, leave that woman alone. I don't care if you want to see your kids, you ain't seen your kids, leave that woman alone.
Okay, so this is a PSA, fellas. Leave that girl alone. At any rate, so there you have it. I'm gonna let them finish though, but I guess. But shout out to Real Tune TV. But there you have it. Hoover Gumby arrested. Aggravated stalking. Driving without a license or whatever, without insurance and all that, whatever. That's what he said. They was being petty with these sort of charges, if you will. Obviously, the more serious charges that he doesn't have bail on, and the charges are right there as of 1/27/2026. And those charges those 3 charges that he does not have bail on are domestic violence with pregnant victim or what have you. We'll see. We have to see what happens, man. We have to wait for the facts to come out. I haven't heard the Gumby phone call myself. I know he's called in. I'm interested to see what he has to say. So I'm gonna play that phone call for you all.
Because at that point, it's not about you trying to be a good person. It's not about you trying to be there. At that point, it's about you ensuring that you are there, or at least that's how the judge is gonna look at it. That's how the judge is gonna look at it. The judge is gonna look at it like, okay, you're violating the restraining order, meaning that you don't care about your kids, because if you cared about them, you wouldn't have violated that restraining order, which is essentially what Gumby did. So again, free Gumbino, man, you got a lot going for yourself. I know shit been hard for you in the media. You know what I'm saying? 4 Extras just shouted you out. You still got action, you know, and it's very unfortunate that you're in this situation and you can't pop the $75,000 bond after you won millions of dollars in a lawsuit. People are gonna look like, oh, Real Tune, you was managing them, you was around them. Why don't you bond them out? Y'all made all this money together. That's not my job, man. I'm not Gumby's manager. I stayed away from getting that close to Gumby. Like, don't get me wrong, I mess with Gumby, but when it comes to managing, I will give advice, but Gumby is a lot to deal with. Like, he's a lot to deal with, so much so that like I didn't want no parts in it, as far as like being hands-on, because I'm not in a position to take losses and not win, right? I think that's why I say I think Gumby realized too late that I was actually on his side, bro. I actually wanted to see you win. I actually tried to help you drive your narrative, even when he said fuck Fort Worth. When he said F Fort Worth, I said, we not putting this out. He said, give me that content. I'm putting it out on my channel. Then made a big deal about it. And he did it, and look at the result. Now multiple people from Texas are saying you can't come here. You go to Cali, you see that they not really for you, that you got set up on a play with no jumper. And now you in jail. Free Gumbino, man.
That's what friends are for. As far as from my understanding, Gumby's in jail in Las Vegas. He still has not mentioned that. He keeps referring to Cali and that Gumby went to Cali as if that relates to his charges. That has nothing to do with these sort of charges. It wasn't some gang-related stuff. And he went back to Cali and got involved in the gang banging again and got caught up in that. This is something totally detached from that sort of situation. But he said, so I guess he probably is in a position to bail Gumby out. But he said, we're not that close. No, in fact, I was trying to stay away from him, what have you. Really? I mean, I did a million interviews together, but that's just business. I understand. I can't tell him what to do with himself or his money. But there's no bailing out anyway. He's surmising, it's conjecture on his part, Real Tune, that if Gumby is able to reach the $75,000 bail, that they will then put a bail on the other charges. No, that's not what that means. He can pay that $75,000 bail and he's still not getting out of jail because he has 3 other charges that he has no bail on. Domestic violence against a pregnant woman. They're not letting him out for that. No bail. So you can go pay $75,000 or whatever else, 10% of that, $7,500, and get him out of jail, or think you're getting him out of jail, but they still not gonna let him out because he has other charges that he has no bail on. But again, everyone, I would just say, I would hold your judgment until we find out what's going on. Obviously, these are some serious charges, and we'll see. This is his situation, his baby mama, I guess. Those relationships, man, they get complicated and volatile and violent, sometimes. Me personally, I don't support anyone who abuses women. I just don't. I'll never put my hands on a woman. I watched my mother be beat more than once. My father put his hands on her, and my stepfather put his hands on my mother. And I was younger, and I witnessed it one time. I vowed when I got bigger, I was gonna take his head off his shoulder. I vowed, man, that I was gonna do some things to that guy. You know, I've never gotten over it to this day. It plays in my mind what I witnessed that day. So, and I've gotten extremely angry before, with a woman that I was involved with or whatever, and we get into it or whatever, but I've never put my hands on one, never even came close to it. I will just walk out first, as angry as I can get sometimes, and I can get up there, bro, to the point where I scare myself, and I'm dead serious. It's not something I'm proud of. I'm like, that's a lack of control. That's a lack of strength. That's weakness. That's a lack of control over your own emotions. That's not strength. So I'm not saying this because I'm proud of it. This is something I need to get serious control of and quickly. But as angry as I've gotten, I've still never done that because I'm just so against it. So I don't know what happened here. Just for the record, I don't support anyone that puts their hand on any woman, especially any pregnant woman. That's just for the record, bro. I don't care who it is. It be my brother. You understand? It be my father. I don't care. Now again, we don't know what happened here. I don't. So I can't speak against Gumby about anything. Just because he's been charged with something doesn't mean he's guilty of it. I know how this system works. And I know how women can call the police and say certain stuff, and it's not true. She mad at you about this, that, and the other. He's stalking me and this and that. He hit me and he didn't. All this sort of stuff has happened. Don't know what happened in this situation, however. I'm just saying I'm withholding judgment. But yeah, of course, should it come out that this is what it is, and yeah, no, that's not good. Something I can never support, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know, bro. And I don't want to pass any judgment on anyone. This is some serious stuff, some serious charges. That can net him a lot of time if he was found guilty, but we'll see. But as I said, from my understanding, he's in Vegas jail. But let's see. I'm gonna get to the phone call that he had. Perhaps Gumby can explain it all then. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Stay safe and stay free, people.